people ask you about your food regimen simply so that you can tell them about it and convince them to become raw foodists? Have you tried? It doesn't work. They're asking you about their food regimen and yours so that you can tell them that what they're doing is okay. Go ahead. Keep doing what you're doing. If you try to convince people, it's a long struggle. But let me give you a couple of pointers that I've found over the years have worked well for me. Somebody asked you about your food regimen? Change the subject. Somebody asked you about your food regimen? Walk away, pretend you didn't hear them. Somebody asked you about your food program? Tell them, you know, it's probably not for you. Somebody wants to know how come you eat the way you eat? Ask them how they think the Knicks are going to do tonight. Somebody wants to know about your food program. Ah, that's what you do for a living. They've fallen into your trap. Tell them, you know, this is what I do for a living. I consult with people about food. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it, but this isn't the time or the place. Would you like to schedule a consultation maybe Wednesday at 4? Well, I would tell you about it, but you wouldn't do it anyway, so we'd just be wasting all of our time. You don't really want to be healthy, with vibrant energy, with no digestive problems, with perfect vision. Keep your faculties throughout your life. It's not for you. Do you really want to give up the foods that you're addicted to? Folks, how could anybody think for a second that healthy living means you have to give up the foods that taste good? Where did they come up with that? They go, you mean no more bread? But bread tastes so good. You're right, bread tastes good. No more fried chicken. Fried chicken tastes so good. You're right, fried anything tastes good. Fried packing peanuts taste good. Low calorie, low cholesterol. They can make them into the shape of shrimp. Can I tell them? You mean mangoes don't taste good? Watermelon doesn't taste good? A couple people this weekend are trying to convince me durian tastes good. No, I like it. I like any fat fruit. Come on. The oncologists tell us that the people who study cancer have found that every study ever done on heated fats has shown them to be carcinogenic, cancer-causing. That's a pretty strong statement for raw food. The ophthalmologists tell us that not only are the raw foods the richest sources of vitamin A, but that the cooked foods have an adverse effect on the fluid within the eye, leading towards a tendency to a whole host of eye diseases. The osteologists, the people who study bones, have already shown us, and now, for the very first time in history, have the technology to measure the amount of calcium lost from the bone from the consumption of one meat-based meal. New technology. They can show us calcium loss immediately following the ingestion of a cooked meal, certainly of a meat meal. The pharmacologists have told us about the addictive qualities by defining addictive qualities, and have told us that people suffer from withdrawal symptoms when we take them off of certain cooked foods. Well, I'm all in favor of preferences, but addictions don't really fly as far as I'm concerned. I hate to go here even, but the proctologists find in fruits and vegetables, the things that people remove in order to make juices, have the most positive effect on colon and rectal cancers. And that without the fibers found in fruits and vegetables, not in grains, but in fruits and vegetables, that those fibers are what allow for a proper flow of nutrient material called a bolus of food through the intestines. Physiologists have told us that there is not one single aspect of our entire physiology, our physiology being the study of our functions, there's not one single aspect of our physiology that supports the concepts that we are anything other than plant eaters. The people who study your nose are rhinologists. And they say that most people are allergic to wheat and many other cooked grains. That almost no one is allergic to all fruits, but many people are allergic to certain fruits. But that almost everyone on the planet is allergic to wheat. And that they show problems of allergies, asthma, congestion, ear distortions, nose distortions, and all sorts of related congestive problems from the consumption of these addictive food substances. And even the urologists tell us that the consumption of meat leads to such an elevated uric acid level in the blood as to have a negative effect on the function of the kidneys. That the alkalinity and the high water content found in raw fruits and vegetables is soothing to the kidneys and allows for their proper function. Whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic plants. How anyone can ever even imagine that we are designed as meat eaters when everything else in science goes against this is actually beyond my comprehension. And I was raised as a meat eater. Now, we didn't eat a lot of meat. Only 3 times a day. And snacks. And I've done this. And I know many of you will have the opportunity to do this. Sit in front of, or stand in front of 1,000 nutritionists, 500 dietitians, 10,000 chiropractors in one group. This meeting has me excited. And explain to them, gradually and gently, whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic plants, one food at a time, when we're hungry, till we're full, is the ideal way to eat. And they go, yeah, but what about variety? Don't you want variety? And I agree with them. If all you do is eliminate foods out of your program, since most people only know about 3 or 4 vegetables and only 2 or 3 fruits, you're going to have a very tight food regimen. You got to eliminate certain things and add in some others. I will match my variety against any